In the first major elections since Trump and the GOP swept into office, voters sent a message. They're pissed. All right. Now, obviously, it's not the first elections. You've also had some special elections that went very well for Democrats, too, leading up to this. But this is still considered one of the biggest major tests of, can Democrats push back against Donald Trump? And the answer is, of course, yes. Yes, they can. In what was forecast as a pretty brutal night for the GOP. I mean, you had Frank Luntz that I previously talked about in another segment saying, this is going to be bad. This is going to be a freaking bloodbath, okay, everybody? It's not good. It's not going to be good at all, all right? Especially if California gets their way, and I'll get into that. But basically, this was a brutal election for the Republicans. You had Democrats that actually unleashed a blue wave, wiping out Republicans in many states. Virginia, for example. In Virginia, Democratic candidates won all 30 of Northern Virginia seats in the Virginia House of Delegates, significantly expanding their 51-49 majority in the state's lower chamber. Now Democrats will hold at least 64 of the 100 seats, the most that they have held in nearly 4 decades. Pretty significant, okay? And in Virginia, the governor's race, you had Democrat Abigail Spanberger, who crushed the Republican candidate 57-42 to become the first female governor of Virginia, taking over for Republican Glenn Youngkin. All right. Spanberger, by the way, very important here because this is something that Democrats should keep doing. She ran on affordability. Yes, I'm making things more affordable. I know, crazy, right? She slammed Trump's tariffs, of course, slammed Doge, the Trump shutdown, et cetera, right? She called those things an attack on Virginia's economy. And it's not just an attack on Virginia, it's an attack on the entire U.S. economy. Okay, now, there's more. Jay Jones, a Democratic attorney general candidate, he also won. There was a little bit of concern for him because, you know, there was this scandal or something about some text where he was talking about the hypothetical shooting of a Republican, the pew-pew of a Republican, I should say. You know, people were like, don't really care. We're not really concerned, especially since you already had other actual Democrats get pew-pewed. Okay? And I think that's really important. There's already been violence against Democrats. And so this hypothetical, you know, text, whatever scandal of like, oh, what would happen if this particular Republican opponent gets pew-pewed? I don't know. Nobody really cared. Okay? Nobody really cared about that. So now you also have, by the way, the projected winner of the race for lieutenant governor, a Democrat named Ghazala Hashmi. That's right. That's right. She is the state senator who is now going to be the first Muslim woman elected to statewide office in Virginia. So that's just in one state. All right. You have more. Democrats did very well in other states. For example, in Ohio, you had the incumbent mayor of Cincinnati, Aftab Purval, fending off a challenge from J.D. Vance's half-brother. The Vance family rebuked, sent back to the couch. Oh, there you go. All right. And then in New Jersey, of course, you have Mickey Sherrill, who defended against Republican Jack Ciattarelli. In Pennsylvania, Democrats won the majority on the state Supreme Court. They took over the Georgia Public Service Commission. All right, for the first time in a long time. Then local school board races, right? Democrats unseated a bunch of Moms for Liberty-backed candidates who have been, look, they've been getting their asses handed to them for the past few years. And so that's no surprise. But now you've got the big one, New York City, okay? Or I should say one of the big ones. Zohran Mamdani obliterated former Mayor Andrew Cuomo. Yes, here comes Mamdani. All right. Now, one of the reasons, of course, is yes, Mamdani ran a great campaign. He ran a very social media focused campaign. He talked about affordability, which is really important. And that got a lot of people to turn out. In fact, turnout, massive, massive. Look at that, 2025, highest in decades. Damn, that is almost double the number of votes cast in this election, about 2 million, okay? It's almost double the number of votes cast in 2021 for now disgraced ex-mayor Eric Adams. So there you go. Now, what's interesting about this is that there were a lot of people in this race, okay? You had Andrew Cuomo. For a while, you had Eric Adams. And then, of course, you had Curtis Silwa, who is the Republican, barely got any votes. Didn't do very well, but then again, it is New York after all. But the major competitor there was Andrew Cuomo, and for a while, Eric Adams. Eric Adams dropped out. They both were running as independents after Mamdani crushed them in the primary, and Cuomo got spanked. He got spanked, which is funny considering who endorsed him. Donald Trump. Donald Trump went and endorsed Cuomo. The kiss of death from the orange pumpkin. Ouch. Didn't work out so well, did it, bro? Now, what also didn't work out was the massive amount of Islamophobia that was lobbed at Mamdani by both the Republicans as well as his establishment opponents. Establishment Democrats, famously or infamously, didn't really support Mamdani. I mean, it took a while for some of these Democrats to come around, and some of them never did come around. And so that's really important here. And it's not surprising that in New York, Democrats are actually, the Democratic Party is losing voters, but they're not going to Republicans. No, they're actually going to the lefty Working Families Party. Look at that. You have 28% growth in the Working Families Party, which endorsed Mamdani. So there you are. And Democrats losing 7%. So there you are. Yes, I know, Working Families Party, rather small still. But look at that. They're growing. They're growing quite a bit. Democrats shrinking. So Democrats, you might want to think, what's the Working Family Party doing to get all this growth? Maybe we should start doing that. Yeah, you'd think. Now, that said, there's more. California, it's the big one. You had Prop 50, okay? Prop 50 won by a huge margin, which would allow Democrats to redistrict the state to gain potentially 5 more seats in the House of Representatives. That was a thing that Trump and the Republicans were very scared of happening. They did not want Prop 50 to pass. By the way, Prop 50 is a response to the Texas gerrymandering. So Gavin Newsom, governor of California, was like, hey, if you do this redistricting in Texas, and you shouldn't, it hasn't been 10 years yet, all right? If you do that redistricting, then we're going to do it. You want to try to rig the election against Democrats? Then fine. We're going to rig the elections against Republicans by redistricting. Yeah, your call. If you're going to do it, Greg Abbott, all right, go ahead. And we'll do it too. They did. And now, of course, thanks to the voters, by the way, and this was put up to the average California voter. Do you want Newsom to redistrict? They said overwhelmingly, yes. Yes, you're going to rig the game, then we're going to rig it too. All's fair in love and politics. Okay? And there it is. There it is. Look, overall, it's a pretty good night for Democrats, good night for the left, and a absolutely awful night for Trump. Make no mistake, this was a pretty big rebuke of this regime. People are not happy with the direction the country has been going under Trump and Republicans. They're not happy with the cost of living. I'm not happy with the cost of living. Things are way too expensive. Prices and affordability, turns out, are huge motivators to get people out to the polls. Yeah. Exit polls found that in all 4 major contests, the governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey, the New York mayor's race, and the Proposition 50 battle in California, voters said that the economy was the most important issue motivating them, or close to it in New Jersey. And they ended up siding with Democrats overwhelmingly, which tells you who owns this shit economy? Republicans. That's right. Trump, and nothing shows this more, illustrates this more than the fact that Donald Trump is building tacky-ass golden ballrooms and throwing great Gatsby parties, while 42 million Americans do not know if they're going to get their food assistance this month. People who are working, people who are disabled, children, etc. Millions more people face a tripling of their health insurance premiums thanks to Republican inaction on the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which has caused a government shutdown. This is why Republicans got blown out in this election. Every Democratic candidate that won focused on affordability, and they pushed back against Donald Trump, the ICE raids, etc. And you know what? They did pretty well. That's what Democrats need to keep doing, to focus on helping working people, helping regular people, pushing back on Trump's tariffs, pushing back on his immigration raids. Look, the 2026 midterms, this is a preview. Okay, this is a preview. And so it's going to be about Trump's economy and pushing back against his disastrous leadership on it. But what do you think? What do you think about these election results? Leave me a comment. You know, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right, and tell me what you think is going to happen in these upcoming midterms. Now, in the next segment, of course, I'm going to talk about the GOP meltdown over these elections, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.